Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushad, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson real quick, which was inspired by, just listening to the things that's going on right now. And a lot of our people are asking, why is all this happening? Why, some of them are actually seeing the setup coming into place, how they're about to start putting Jake down, but they're asking, why is all this here stuff happening? So I want to go into the scriptures and pull out, why the scriptures say these things are happening. All right. So we're going to start here in the book of Revelation 19 and verse 10. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. All right. And this is the backbone of these whole things. All right. You have to understand these things are not happening. The uprising of Jake isn't happening because of Jake is tired of Esau killing him. It's not, it's not about the injustice or any of these things. These things are all happening based off of prophecy. All right. This is basically what you're basically watching is the movie play out of the Most High script that he directed, man. All right, so this is all playing out, according to the Most High's will and to his plan. All right, that's why it says here that the spirit of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. All right, so if you call yourself, so-called Christians or so-called believing in the Lord, you know what I'm saying? You should be occupied where? In prophecy. All right, because while prophecy is you're gonna be able to, prophecy is your roadmap. All right, it's gonna be able to guide you and let you know what times that we're in and what's coming up next. All right, so I'm gonna go from there. Revelation 11 and 11 says, and after 3 days, let me go up a little bit to verse 8. All right, this is Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, which is dealing with our people, the children of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They had to come and fall on the way first to where we wouldn't know who we were, or we would lose we would discontinue from our heritage. All right, but now, nevertheless, this is what's going on. Revelation 11 and 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, which is talking about the men of the Lord. The prophets were being raised up, all right, coming back to their nationality, coming back to their power, all right, calling on the Lord's name again, all right. It says, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, all right. And so now, let me read this real quick. Pairing that with this, it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. All right, so going back to Revelation 11 and 11, says that, their dead bodies laid in the streets to the great city. All right, and then until, the spirit of life entered into them, which is going back to Ezekiel 37, the men of the Lord being raised back up and starting to call back onto the Father's name again. All right, but nevertheless, as the men of the Lord started waking back up, this was fulfilling prophecy. All right, let's just say that you had Esau has a time clock to rule or whatever, whatnot. But, the timer pretty much was frozen this whole time. Because why? The children of Israel didn't know who they were and so on and so forth. Our timer was going off to the fact of the matter that, we had to wait and endure our punishment for a certain amount of time. All right. But now as we are, now as our timer is running down as far as being in our captivity, Esau's timer is starting to start up, and it's starting to roll. So now he's looking at his hourglass and seeing that he has but a short time. So now the devil is coming down unto you having great wrath, because why? He knows he has but a short time. He also knows that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. He also understands that, according to these scriptures, that, hey, man, he's about to go into captivity, man. All right. So now what does the scripture say? It says, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth he had but a short time. Going back to that Revelation 11 and 11, the spirit of prophecy, the spirit of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. According to the prophecies, we see now that the devil is noticing he has but a short time. So now he's coming out with this here great wrath. Again, this isn't because of, however they want to say it, uprisings or mistreatment of Jake or so on and so forth. It's purely based off of these prophecies that's coming to pass. All right. And all of a sudden now the devil is realizing his time is short. All right. So I'm going to go from there. This is Matthew 24, verse 21. It says, for there should be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right, so going into this, there's going to be great tribulation, such as there was not since the beginning of the world to the same time. What is this? This is what? In red letters, this is Yahushua speaking. This is a prophecy. All right, so there's going to be this great turmoil that was going to come upon the planet, all right, and which is going to ultimately try the elect, or really all of Israel. But, you know, let me just grab this real quick. Hold on, let me go back. Grab it here first. This is Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, as we just read, that great tribulation, such as it was never since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that should be found written in the book. All right, so look, the children of Israel, well, the elect of the children of Israel are going to be delivered up out of this here great tribulation. All right, but nevertheless, this is coming, the devil is coming down having great wrath, because why? Let me grab that real quick. Zechariah 13:8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but a third shall be left therein. So 2/3 of the children of Israel have to pretty much be put to death. All right, before, you know, how you say the elect and the 1/3 be delivered up out of here. We just read it. There was going to be a time of trouble since there was a nation even to the same time. All right, and we're about to read. Let me go ahead and grab that as well too. Jeremiah chapter 30. All right, we're going to read about this here being Jacob's trouble. All right, for, you know, Daniel 12 just said, but he's going to be saved out of it, everyone is found written in the book. All right, you can go to Revelation chapter 7 and see the ones that's going to be found written in the book. All right, you know, those that have the seal of the living power in their forehead. Ezekiel 9:4 lets you know who those men were going to be. You know, they were going to be in the highways and the byways, sighing and crying for all the abominations in the midst thereof, the men of the Lord. Right, the Lord just said in Zechariah that, well, we didn't read it, but nevertheless, he was going to bring the third part through the fire. 2/3 are going to be cut off and die, but the third part he's going to bring through the fire. That's going to be the elect that's going to be delivered, that was found written in the book. But nevertheless, the point I was trying to make there was that the 2/3 have to be cut off and die. So when you pair that to that in Revelation 12, all right, where it says that the devil has come down into you having great wrath, because he knoweth he had but a short time. This is where he's going to come down with that great wrath, and he's going to take out 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. So this is Jeremiah chapter 30, and I'm going to start at verse 5. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. All right, because see, our people are under the thought process of, oh, it's 2020. I thought we were over this. I thought we were over racism. I thought all these things were over. But nevertheless, you have to understand it's not about, you know, so-called people having a change of heart, people growing up out of things, the old generations dying off, and this new generation coming up, and we're peace, love, and happiness. No, this is all, we are living according to the scriptures. You know, people say we're living in biblical day, or that was old back in the Bible days or whatever. No, we're in the biblical days now more than ever. All right, as these final end time prophecies are taking place, this is where we are right now. All right. So this is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 5. It says, for thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Like I was just addressing, you know, our people want to think that, you know, we should be growing out of these things and we should have peace now. People, you know, race relations are better and everything like that. But that's not so. All right. Because if you understand the scriptures, at the end all, there was going to always be that great hatred between, you know, Esau having his hatred towards his brother Jacob. That was always going to be there. That was what was purposed in his heart, man. All right, to slay his brother Jacob. And this was going to culminate all the way into the end all be all throughout the scriptures when the Most High was going to send Yahushua to finally take Esau out of power and out of his place, man. All right, and then put him into captivity under you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans for 1,000 years, and ultimately eradicate him off the face of the earth. All right, so these things are all happening according to the prophecy. All right, everything is happening according to the script, man. All right. So this is Jeremiah 30 and verse 6. It says, ask ye now, see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn to paleness. All right. And that's what you're starting to see right now, man. A lot of these people out here are fearful for the sights that they're starting to see, man. A lot of these Edomites are shaking in their boots, man. They're like, oh, shit, man. You know, just being around Jake, man, being in the grocery store, whatever, whatnot, they scared because they don't know if Jake going to lash out on their ass or whatever, whatnot, man. All right. And then Jake is scared of Esau right now as well, too. They don't know if riding down the street or whatever, whatnot, a police pass by, if they're going to just get pulled out their car and get shot or whatever, whatnot, you know. You hear a lot of these phone calls with these so-called black parents, black mothers, talking on the radio or whatever, whatnot, they breaking down in tears, oh, I got a son, and like, how the fuck all of a sudden now do you realize the dangers that your sons, your men's, your brothers, and so on and so forth had to go through? Now all of a sudden you want to realize that this has been going on, man. All right. But nevertheless, this is, this has got fear over, Jacob and Esau, man. Everybody's scared that, everybody's walking on eggshells knowing that this thing can erupt at any point in time, man. All right. Verse 7 says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Reiterating what we just read in Daniel 12 and also in Revelation 12. All right. And Matthew 24. All right. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Talking about the elect is going to be saved up out of it. But this is the time of Jacob's trouble. Why is it Jacob's trouble? Because this is the last hoorah, the last time that Esau is going to have to come down on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The last time he's going to be in power. The last time he's going to have his blessing, which is the sword, to be able to use and wield on any other nation, let alone the Israelites, all right? This is why he's coming down with great wrath, because why the scriptures say he has but a short time. He knows he has but a short time, all right? So I'm going to go from there. Let me grab this here first, and I'll go back. Isaiah 66:4, it says, let me just get to the point. Isaiah 66:4 says, I also will choose their delusions. All right. Which one of their delusions? The fact that race relations are still, everything is all good or whatever, whatnot. We see these people week in and week out on the highways and the byways, man. You always see a group of Edomites and then that one happy-go-lucky Brian Gumble ass nigga out there walking with them. And then they walk by just to feel so-called comfortable or whatever, whatnot with their buddies. Like, no, it's not like that, guys. Or whatever, whatnot. They feel a little type of way or whatever, whatnot. A lot of Jakes will actually go and have, they'll center themselves around a bunch of Edomites to have their friends as their friends so that they can make these Edomites feel comfortable, make them feel like they're not a threat. And so, a lot of these different things like that. So they'll feel like that they, they can assimilate. All right. And a lot of you Northern Kingdom Israelites do the same thing too, man. See a lot of you so-called Mexicans that do the same exact thing, man, especially down here in Florida, man. They be walking around, like down here we call them so-called rednecks, these Edomites, right? Right around with the rebel flags and everything like that. They have a certain type of attire that they wear. They always be rolling around in these Wrangler jeans. We call them stranglers. The little redneck boots, camouflage jackets, you know what I'm saying? Some Guy Harvey fishing t-shirts and shit like that. And they drive these lifted up ass pickup trucks with the mud and tires on it and everything like that. And listen to country music all day, which is fine and dandy. That's, that's the Edomite style and how they get the fuck down. But then at the same time, you'll see a lot of these, like I said, the Northern Kingdom, a lot of these so-called Mexicans, all right? What they'll do is they'll do the same shit. You'll see a lot of these so-called Mexican guys, they'll be rolling around, these same pickup trucks lifted up, only listening to country music. Hey, they could like country music, but that's not the point. The thing is, what they do is they be blasting their country music, wearing their Wrangler jeans, their little cowboy boots, and they Guy Harvey fishing t-shirts. And then whenever they're around you so-called Negroes, whether or not they're your friends or not, they always be making all the same racist jokes that Esau be making, They sound just like these Edomites. And what does that make them feel like? Oh, well, if I'm acting like how Esau's acting, then maybe they'll look at me the same way, They make these Edomites feel all comfortable or whatever, whatnot around them. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't have no nigger friends. Oh, yeah, we're going to lynch these niggers or whatever, whatnot, They say all these different things, be laughing, ha, go lucky. You know what I'm saying? So they'll feel a little bit more comfortable around these Edomites, and they think that if they sit there and throw dirt on you on Judah, that Esau would have favor on them, and the same with especially the Northern Kingdom women, all right, and a lot of you Southern Kingdom women as well too, so-called black women, but really a lot of you so-called Northern Kingdom women, you so-called Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and all you other so-called Latino tribes, a lot of their women like to get with these Edomite men. They, for one, they don't want to get with their own men. They despise so-called black men or whatever, whatnot. Some of them, not all of them, but, you'll have a lot of them that do these things, and they'll try to act like a so-called white girl or whatever, whatnot, They'll just think that, oh, well, maybe they won't notice that I got this darker skin or I'm a so-called Hispanic or whatever, whatnot, and they only want to be with these Edomite men, all right? But nevertheless, this is why the Most High, let me read it again. It says, Isaiah 66 and verse 4, it says, I also will choose their delusions, all right? So this delusion is the fact that if we sit here and throw dirt on the rest of you Israelites, that the Edomites will take them in and they'll look at them the same and they'll just put them up on a pedestal. But this isn't so, all right? Because they're going to wind up coming after you just the same way as well. It's not about how you act. It's not about what your skin color looks like. It's the fact that you are an Israelite, all right? And the fact of the matter is that you don't want to come back to that. You don't want to listen to your own brethren. Like the scripture say, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. But nevertheless, what are we reading here in Isaiah 66 and 4? It says, I also will choose their delusions, All right, oh, it's gonna be all good. Let me go over there with them or whatever, whatnot, and will bring their fears upon them. What is one of their fears? That Esau would, wipe the coals out of his eyes and realize that, oh, you niggas is Israelites too. We need to start killing you niggas as well too. All right. So it says, I will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. And that's exactly what happens with our people, man. Especially, like I said, you Northern Kingdom Israelites, you so-called Latinos, and a lot of you, some of you so-called Southern Kingdom Israelites, man. So-called Negroes and stuff like that. You want to act like the so-called white man and, Don Lemon ass niggas. You see what I'm saying? So it says, let me read it again. I also will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but did evil before my eyes and chose that which I delighted not, because they hear our message. They hear what the Lord is trying to say to them or whatever, whatnot, but then they want to bring out the same thing and everything like that. So at the end all be all, they're pretty much going to go down along with their enemies as well too, But nevertheless, you can't tell them anything. All right. This is Isaiah 65:12. It says, Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer. So who is the Most High calling? All right, who is he expecting to pick up the phone? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you Israelites. It's the only people we call to repentance. All right, but guess what? When the Most High called you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans on the highways and the byways through his men, all right, it says, Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you did not answer. When I spake, you did not hear, but did evil before my eyes and chose that wherein I delighted not. Because this was the point in time where we were supposed to arise and awake out of our sleep, out of our slumber, come back to the law, statutes, commandments, all right, and serve the Lord in truth and sincerity, man. All right, but nevertheless, as the men of the Lord were out on the highways and the byways prophesying and letting you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans know that you're the chosen people of the Lord, all right, he only loves you and he hates these Edomites. What did you do? You chose to go rock it out with your enemies and spit in the Most High's face, man. By doing what? Spit in the prophet's face, man. By closing your ears and hardening your neck towards the voice of the Lord, man. So what did the Lord say? I'm going to choose your delusions and bring your fears upon you. And I'm going to number you all down to the sword, because when I call, you ain't answer, man. I was trying to, warn you of these things before they happen. But guess what? Let me grab one more. We're going to close out with this one. Salat. Well, Lord willing, you can still hear it, because my phone is messing up. So Lord willing, this here video goes all the way through. I can't even get the last precept. But I'll kind of quote it. Ezekiel 3:17. I've made thee a watchman into the children of Israel. Therefore, give them warning from me. And then in verse 18 goes into verse 19 says, you warn the wicked from his to turn from his wicked ways, and he don't want to turn from them. Then the blood is off of your hand. You did your job, but he's gonna die in his own iniquity, man. And so this is what was going on. This is why the Most High said he was gonna number you all down to the sword. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Ankh, and pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.